Hey, Crimies. I hope you had a good weekend so far. I know some of you have a long weekend, so that's awesome. So, for today's episode, I'm going to try to have pictures throughout the entire video. I like doing that when it's a missing person. That way, everyone can take a really good look at the person in case there's any sightings or anything that you can contribute to the investigation. So, as always, before we begin, please listen to the following disclaimer.
The content delivered through this podcast will at times be graphic in nature and describe criminal conduct which includes but is not limited to violence, sexual assault, and homicide. All suspects described in the podcast are considered innocent until they are found guilty in a court of law. I'm not an expert on any subjects covered, I'm just an interested party. The content will be troubling and upsetting to some people, therefore, viewer or listener discretion is advised.
And now, let me welcome you to episode 10, Nathan Wise. So today's case is another one that's really important because it's about a missing, vulnerable person that still has not been found. Nathan was born with Down syndrome, and he was living in Toronto at the time of his disappearance on May 12th, 2023. I want to go over the details and description from when he was last seen, so just bear with me while I do that for you. So again, he was last seen on May 12th, 2023. Location, Toronto, Ontario. Age, 37. Date of birth, February 10th, 1986. Height, 4 foot 6 inches. Weight, approximately 170 pounds. Brown hair, brown eyes. Notable identifiers, Down syndrome, and he does wear eyeglasses. Nathan doesn't have any tattoos, and he was wearing a black hoodie with green stripes, black pants, and black shoes at the time of his disappearance. Nathan is originally from the Waterloo-Kitchener area, and he's very familiar with this area because that's his comfort and that's what he knows. A few facts about the Waterloo-Kitchener area. It continues to grow as a vibrant community while it experiences significant economic growth, a steady population increase, and it continues to develop in many, many ways. The economy is mostly driven by the region's manufacturing sector, and the population reached approximately 673,910 residents in 2023. I live in the sticks, and this is a hard no for me. So Nathan spent most of his life there, and he was super close to his mom. Unfortunately, she had passed about 10 years before, and Nathan really struggled with her loss. Through all of this, his relationship with his dad really blossomed, even though this took time because Nathan was really devastated over the loss of his mom. Sometime later, Nathan was hit with another emotional blow when his dad's health started to deteriorate, and he eventually passed as well. At that time, Nathan became more of a homebody and kept to himself, but he was always close to his cousin, Jason Babcock. That was like his home base and the one person in his life that he really, really trusted. So Nathan couldn't live by himself, and after his father died, his sister offered to have him come live with her and her husband, and it kind of seemed to be the best option at the time. Nathan and his sister had a considerable difference in age, and they were never really close. It was going to be a huge change for Nathan to leave everything he knew, the people he knew and loved and who also loved him back, to move to a new, unknown place, unfamiliar environment with really someone he barely knew. Even though Nathan had been described as very high functioning depending on what environment and situation he is in, a CTV News article describes Nathan as unable to care for himself and as functioning at roughly the level of a 7-year-old. So he does require daily support, and this explains why he wouldn't have been able to live by himself. I got some of the highlights of my episode from the True North True Crime podcast, and I'll link the episode in the show notes. So, at the time of Nathan's disappearance, it's believed he only had $20 on him. In a post from May 19th, 2023, it's confirmed that Nathan did not have his wallet or a cell phone with him. During the search for Nathan, police used dogs, and they say the search was very thorough because they searched some walking trails and hiking trails nearby where they knew Nathan was known to enjoy spending some time, but nothing was ever found. No trace, no scent, no evidence or clues, nothing. On May 17th, 2023, so literally days after he went missing, a Facebook group was created called Search for Nathan. I highly recommend that you join. It's a pretty active group even to this day, 2 years after his disappearance. And I'll make sure to link the Facebook group in the show notes. The admins scheduled Google Meets with members of the group to discuss and plan searches, and they handed out flyers everywhere they could to everyone they could. On May 18th, 2023, an admin of the group posted that they would be receiving daily updates by 9 p.m. from Sean Kinghorn, who was a community liaison officer with the Toronto Police, and that the admins would then post in the Facebook group to update everyone by 8 a.m. the next day. Unfortunately, like most other things, the updates went from being daily to not getting any at all over time. So I'm sure for the family, this would have been so discouraging and so devastating. Initially, the police had set up a command post near the Jane and Shepherd areas, but this was later taken down to pursue other forms of investigation. So they would follow up on leads they received, and they would try to obtain and view video footage, etc. Then a little later, police were called when a gas station employee reported a possible sighting of Nathan. But just to clarify, to be a confirmed sighting, it needs to be someone who knows Nathan and can positively identify him 100%. Or they would also accept something like a video or something to prove that it was him without the shadow of a doubt. So that one and other sightings that were reported never actually were confirmed sightings. One member commented that they were a support worker for Nathan previously and that they always stayed in touch after through video chat. However, she hadn't heard from Nathan in a few months. And this would actually match the timeline to be right around the time he moved in with his sister and his brother-in-law. Again, a few weeks after Nathan disappeared, Jason, his cousin, explained that while police are patrolling the streets, no command posts were in place at that time. So for legal reasons, when a command post is set up, no volunteer searches can be conducted at the same time or even in the same area. From a legal standpoint, I guess it makes sense. There's way too many rules and protocols to properly collect evidence and preserve it. Woodside Bible Fellowship Church held a ceremony to remember Nathan. People who joined were encouraged to wear sports attire to honor Nathan's big love for sports. Nathan is well known and loved at his church and went every weekend to join and participate in his friendship group. I cannot love this enough. I find it amazing that they do this at that church. He was also a very big Toronto sports fan, and he's known to be very happy-go-lucky, and he can't go anywhere without making friends. He loves them all, coffee, and his favorite breakfast restaurants are A&W, McDonald's, and Dairy Queen. Some articles speak of him in the past tense, but I'm really going to try hard to refrain from doing that because I still have hope. One of the admins of the Facebook group is said to have met Nathan well over 10 years ago when she was part of a program. So essentially, this program paired individuals with disabilities in the community with university students so they could forge friendships. They used to hang out at the Conestoga Mall together, which always had to include checking out the video game store and having a snack at the food court. Nathan also loves taking part in church's Christmas pageant and playing the conga during services. The conga is just a tall, narrow, single-headed drum. A year after Nathan quite literally vanished, family, friends, and strangers still wanted to get answers. No one, including myself, understands how someone can just vanish. It does not make sense. He was new to the area, and it's really not known why he decided to leave home at 7 p.m. that night. Please take a listen to this video.
It's been 1 year since Nathan Wise went missing, and his family is no closer to finding out what happened to him. He was a well-known figure in Waterloo region, and his friends and family say they have never stopped their search. CTV's Hannah Schmidt with that story.
Every day that went by, every week that went by, it was tougher and tougher.
In the years since Nathan Wise first went missing, his family no closer to finding out what happened.
We just want answers for Nathan so we can have the answers to put ourselves to rest, basically.
Nathan, a 38-year-old man with Down syndrome, was last seen in the area of Jane Street and Shepherd Avenue in Toronto on May 12, 2023. Born in Waterloo region, Nathan grew to love the area, making many friends in his 38 years of life.
Nathan is just, he's such an amazing person.
He's missed, because he would just be so delightful to talk to.
While there have been no confirmed sightings of Nathan, his family is holding out hope he'll return home safely.
We don't have anything yet to this day. If you know anything, please just tell somebody.
To mark the 1-year anniversary of his disappearance, family members and friends held a ceremony for Nathan Saturday at Woodside Bible Fellowship Church in Elmira.
The main purpose of this is remembering him, not saying he's gone. It's remembering Nathan for who he was.
Attendees donning jerseys in honor of Nathan, who was an avid sports fan.
Any Toronto team, any sports team at all. So we decided today the best way to remember him is wearing sports attire.
In an email to CTV News, Toronto police say there are no new updates on the investigation, but they continue to urge anyone with information to come forward. They also say they will be sharing information about Nathan on their social media platforms, so he won't be forgotten.
They're still doing the investigation. They still get tips in.
That's really difficult to have no closure that way, but he's in our hearts.
Despite the passage of time, the pain of his absence still lingers, but hope remains strong.
What I tell him is, we miss you, we love you, we just want you to be safe and be with us. We're here for anything you ever need.
Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Elmira.
Now, Nathan knows how to use the transit system, so I guess that could have been one option for him. And when the alert was released, I just want to mention that it was released as a level 3 alert, which is the highest alert level for any missing person. So pay close attention, because the next part is where it gives me a feeling that maybe there's just more to the story that has yet to come out. So May 11th, the night before Nathan went missing, he had gone out for supper with his cousin, his aunt and uncle. This part does not give me bad vibes. September 16th, 2023, the family posted something on Facebook that said, "We're tired of having to try to answer on behalf of Nathan's sister and brother-in-law. So here we go. We've had no contact from them in months. They have not been helping search and just want us to let it go. They were angry when we had groups going out to search, and they just want it dropped. They were even angrier when we tried alternative methods to try to find Nathan. There are a lot of parts of their story that do not match up, and without hurting the ongoing investigation, we wanted you all to know that the investigation is continuing." Nathan has not reached out to or contacted anyone he knows, which is really unusual, but to play devil's advocate, he didn't have his phone with him, so maybe that would be the reason why he didn't reach out to anyone. It's been 2 years since he vanished, so today Nathan would be 39 years old. He would have just had a birthday in February, so please take a listen to the following video.
2 years ago today, Nathan Wise vanished without a trace. The 39-year-old Toronto man with Down syndrome has ties to Waterloo. Today, his friends and family are no closer to finding out what happened to him. But as we hear from CTV's Hannah Schmidt, they are hoping to keep his story in the public eye.
We really miss him a lot. and we just want answers.
It's a milestone no family ever wants to reach.
It started to get real tough as of last night. Our minds were going and stuff going into this day.
2 years since 39-year-old Nathan Wise vanished, and 2 years without answers.
There's been many tips going into the missing persons unit of Toronto Police Service as things still come in bits and pieces, but we still have no solid answers.
Nathan was last seen on May 12, 2023 in the area of Jane Street and Shepherd Avenue West in Toronto, but where he went next remains a mystery.
That is kind of what we're trying to do, is keep his name out there. So if you know anything, please let us know.
While Nathan was living in Toronto at the time of his disappearance, he grew up in Waterloo region and made many friends during his time there.
So I've known Nathan for about like maybe 12, 15 years. I don't know, you just have all these thoughts of how you could have made a change and it would have changed the outcome of what happened.
His disappearance triggered a wave of searches from the city streets of Toronto to the trails and parks of Waterloo region. Despite dozens of appeals and public pleas, there have been no confirmed sightings, no solid leads.
You just have that small glimmer of hope, even though it doesn't feel realistic. So it's hard to have that hope that you might see him one day.
I'm standing outside a Walmart here in Waterloo, a spot Nathan used to visit often. For his family, this isn't just a store, it's a place filled with memories.
Actually, where we're doing the interview here today was really close to him. He visited this Walmart and the A&W almost every day. They knew him by name.
Toronto police confirming there are no new updates with regards to their investigation, and the search for Nathan is ongoing. Meantime, his family is left clinging to memories and to hope that he'll come home.
I just would want to let him know that he's in no trouble at all. We would just like him back home and bring him home here to the Waterloo region where he belongs.
Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Waterloo.
Jason also said that sometimes Nathan's brother-in-law would get irritated with him because of his lack of hygiene, and he knows this because he would tell him that. Something else I learned was that Jason said that Nathan's sister and her husband were upset because they said Nathan had allegedly spent their portion of the inheritance that their dad would have left after his death. And not to state the obvious, but money is the root of all evil, and many times it has destroyed families. So this kind of makes me wonder when they had this argument or disagreement and whether it could have contributed to Nathan deciding to leave home that night around 7 p.m. I can't think of anything else that would have made him want to leave home at that time of night. I also really don't understand why his own sister wouldn't want to help search and why she's telling the rest of the family to drop it. I wouldn't be able to just drop it either if I had a family member who was missing. And also, how do we know he had $20 on him when he left that night? There'd be no way of really knowing for sure unless somebody was keeping really close tabs on his finances, which is possible. His sister realized he was missing because apparently, I think it was something like his bedroom door was closed for a portion of the night. And a couple hours later, when she noticed it was still closed, she knocked, he didn't answer, she opened it, and Nathan was not in his bedroom. So who really saw him last? And they said he was last seen in the area of Jane Street and Shepherd Avenue West. But the word area is pretty vague to me. Did someone actually see him there, or is it assumed that he was last seen in that area, or that he would have last been in that area? So I know it's an ongoing investigation, and for that reason, partially, the police won't share everything with us. The public is not detrimental in moving the investigation forward or the search forward, so there's no reason for them to share any information that we don't need to know. On that note, I did reach out to Jason, Nathan's cousin, who ever so kindly answered, and I can confirm based on our messages that, quote, Nathan's sister and brother-in-law, her husband, are still the same and they have not talked to us since he went missing, end quote. Jason said he would check with his wife and sister to see if they wanted to add anything else. So if he does reach out to me, I will make sure that I post the information he shared with me on my Coffee and Crime Facebook page. Nathan is loved and missed by so many people, his friends, his family, his community, his church family, and the list goes on. Please share this episode everywhere you can so we can help spread awareness and bring Nathan home to his family where he belongs. I'll post information about the Down Syndrome Society in the show notes, and I'll also make sure the information is there for who you need to contact if you have any information about Nathan's disappearance. So, honestly, nobody just vanishes. So clearly, someone somewhere knows something, and it's dire time to speak up. So, on that note, thank you so much for joining me to listen to Nathan's story today. I really appreciate you all, as always. Don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, and most of all, share so we can keep Nathan's face out there, especially if you know people in Ontario. He definitely deserves to be brought home. So please tune in next Sunday for an all-new episode, and remember, crime is a waste of time. Until next time, bye, Crimies.